Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make some Jamaican stew beef. No pressure cooker needed. So if you want to see how Jamaican stew beef gets made in Roma's kitchen, stick around right after this intro.
Can't cook. Think you know you pay your pretty look. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book. Cook, recipe book.
So guys, I'll be using 1 pound of beef today, and you're seeing the white part on my beef because that's the fatty part, and I like when I cook my stew beef and it has a little fat to it. I don't just like the lean part of the beef. I find that it's better that way, so you can do it that way as well. And I cut my beef like 1 inch thick or so because it will shrink when it cooks anyways, and you do not want it too thin. You know, you want it nice and thick, something to chew on. Now to season this, I'm going in with 2 tablespoons of Roma's Kitchen all-purpose seasoning blend, and if you do not have my all-purpose seasoning blend, you can of course use my orange seasoning blend, which is just a simplified version of this. And I'm using all this seasoning, guys. I'm going to season this very well because I'll be doing this on the stove top. I do not have a pressure cooker, so this will take quite a lot of water to actually get it nice and soft. So that's 2 tablespoons of my all-purpose seasoning blend. Then I'm also going to go in with 2 tablespoons of all-purpose powdered seasoning. And if you do not have all-purpose powdered seasoning, you have meat seasoning, you can go ahead and add the 2 tablespoons of meat seasoning instead. I'm now going in with some pimento seeds. This will make a whole lot of difference, and if you crush this will probably be about 1 tablespoon of pimento seeds, and that's perfect. And of course, I cannot cook without my ginger, so I'm adding to this about 2 inches of ginger nicely smashed and 1 clove of garlic nicely chopped. So next, guys, I'll be adding, I like to see the color of my beef nice and brown, so to start I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of browning just to get this nice and brown, and further on, if I don't like the color, if I think it needs more, then I add like 1 more teaspoon of browning. So now I'm just rubbing all the seasonings together all over my beef, getting everything nice and together, you know, just to get all that flavor all in my beef right now. So that's it, guys, and I did a little taste test and I realized that my beef needs a little more seasoning, so I'll be adding to this 1 more tablespoon of my all-purpose powdered seasoning. If you have meat seasoning, you can go ahead and add that, or you can still add all-purpose seasoning if you have that as well. Now I'm just going to rub everything together, get the seasoning all over my beef, and now this is perfect. However, I think the color of my beef can be a bit darker, you know, without getting it bitter from the browning. So I'll be adding 1 more teaspoon of my browning, and look at this. This is perfect. It's all nice. It's perfectly seasoned, and I'm actually going to put this in the freezer for 24 hours, and I'll thaw it like 30 minutes or an hour before it's time to cook. Look at it, guys, it's smelling so good. So see you in 24 hours.
The next day.
Now this is my pot, and you need a pot that's deep enough to actually hold water when you'll be cooking down your beef. So in my pot here, I'll be adding some oil to my pot. I'll be adding 1 tablespoon of oil. You can use the oil of your choice. I'm going in with some vegetable oil, and at this point my pot is over low heat. I want it that way because I do not want my beef to burn, and this pot is really thin too. And so I'm adding in my beef now, and as you can see, some steam is coming from the pot. So the pot is hot, but it's not too hot, and I'm just moving it around at this point to ensure that my beef doesn't stick to the pot or anything like that. Now this step is very important. I'm going to cover the pot and allow the beef to steam for 5 minutes. Yes, I'm allowing it to steam. You do not just want to add your beef to the oil, then you just add the water to your beef right away. No, I'm allowing it to steam right now for 5 minutes. Then I'll be checking in on my beef to see what's happening and just to move it around so it doesn't stick to the pot. So look at this, guys, it's going on pretty fine. And let me tell you guys, if you do not have a pressure cooker and you're cooking your stew beef on your stove top, you're going to need some patience. This takes time, and ensure that you have some water boiling right now on your stove, or you have some water in your kettle getting hot right now, because we'll need not just room temperature water but hot water. So I'm covering my beef once more and I'm allowing it to steam for an additional 5 minutes. So that's 10 minutes worth of steaming. Then after this, we're going to move on to adding the hot water to the beef. And guys, I'm going to repeat it: hot water, not room temperature or cold water, hot water. So look at this, guys, it's steaming up well, and now I'm going to be adding the hot water. Yes guys, hot water you need for your stew beef. This is smelling so good, guys. So it's very important that you season your beef very well. Now to the container in which the beef was resting, I added some hot water to it, and now I'm adding the hot water to my beef, and I'm adding enough not to cover the beef entirely right now, but just on top of the beef. Then I'm actually going to close this, and I'm moving it around a little first, just to get everything nice and together, and then I'm going to be closing this and allowing it to cook for the first 15 minutes. Okay guys, so after the first 15 minutes, this is my beef. I'm going to test a little piece of my beef to see how soft it is. Of course, it's not ready. It's getting there, but it's not there as yet. And as you can see, most of the water has dried out. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding some more hot water to this. But at this time, I'll be adding enough hot water that will be about 1 inch above the beef, right? So enough hot water, guys, to go 1 inch above your beef, and this will be enough to cook your beef right through. I'll be cooking this for 20 minutes, but I'll be cooking some things with this in the 20 minutes. So to this, I'll be adding, guys, a quarter of a medium potato. I'll also be adding to this 2 stalks of scallion, some carrot, some green bell pepper, and some onion. You can add as much as you like, but this is enough for me. Look at it, it's looking so good, it's looking so colorful right now, and I'm telling you, it's smelling so good. And of course, because you seasoned your beef so well, you do not need to add any more powdered seasoning or anything to this. Looking good. Now we're going to allow this to cook for the 20 minutes, and I know this 20 minutes will be perfect for it to get as soft as I really like my beef. But guys, remember something that's very important when you're cooking anything stew: your thyme. I'm adding to this 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried thyme leaves. Of course, if you have fresh thyme, you can go ahead and add like 1 to 2 stalks of the fresh thyme in this. Allow it to cook down with this, it will give it a great taste. So I'm just moving this around now just to get everything nice and together. And my beef is actually over medium heat, guys. I'm slow cooking my beef because I need it nice and soft. You do not need to rush the process and put your beef over high heat. No, this is it. I'm checking back on my beef again, and it's drying down. The water is going down, and I've also tested how to see how soft my beef is. It's getting really soft, which is excellent. And also my carrot and my potatoes are cooking. Now I'm going to be adding to this a quarter cup of ketchup, just to help with the thickness of the gravy, because we don't want any long water gravy here, guys. Now the potato will also help to get the gravy nice and thick, so only a quarter cup is actually required, and that's perfect. So this will be cooking now for the rest of the time that's left out of the 20 minutes, and that will be perfect. You're seeing that the water is going down, which is also great. Now I'm going to be covering this back and allow it to cook for the rest of the time. I do remove my lid and I do stir this every now and then, just to ensure that my beef is not sticking to my pot. This pot is very thin, and you know, things tend to stick to it, so I do not want that. So I do move around my beef every now and then, about 2 to 3 times out of the 20 minutes. And it's bubbling. It's all over medium heat. Now after the full 20 minutes, this is it. It's very thick, guys. It's very thick and nice. It's great. I'm telling you, it's so good. It's smelling good now. My beef is very soft. All my seasonings, they boiled out nicely, and look at this, thick and rich and lovely. Now guys, this is my stew beef. Look at how good it looks. It tastes just as good, guys, and I'm serving this with some rice and peas, some fried plantains, and also some vegetable. So guys, let me know what you think about this recipe, and if this is something that you try, and if this way is the way that you definitely cook this on your stovetop. It took me basically 40 minutes, or 40 to 45 minutes in total. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your post notifications on. Until next video.